I was saying that over here, the managers are very supportive. If you show them that there is a scope of improvement, they will give you a chance to do it.
Yeah.
And that is your defining moment. Like if you are given a chance, you have to prove it to them. Like it was worth giving you a chance. And if you got well with it, you will get even more opportunities. So that's how I started building my progression in the career. And like one after the other, I was given in charge of even more modules, in different parts of the IP. And I started building the trust with my manager and got chance to improve much of the test bench architecture in this 3+ years that I have been in Samsung.
So that's very interesting. So from what you have said, I can get that especially for folks who are just starting out with their career, Samsung is one of the best places to work for in terms of the work culture, in terms of the opportunities, in terms of the learning curve that they take.
Correct. They give you much exposure, but you have to show them that you are willing to get the exposure. You have both the ways there. If you want to be idle, you will be given all the opportunities to stay idle. No one will question you, no one will ask you. Whatever they ask you, you do it. You finish your work, you go back home. So they will let you continue with that. They won't mind it. That if you are sticking to whatever is asked of you, that is also one thing. But if you want to learn more, you want to push yourself, and if you prove to your managers that yes, you are willing to do it, and they will give you the opportunity to prove it.
That's so nice of Samsung as a company.
Yes.
So since you have worked at Samsung for almost 2 years now?
3+ years. I will complete 4 years in this June.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So since you have worked at Samsung for 3+ years now, so can you give suggestions for those folks who want to enter Samsung, not through their college placements, but trying through off campus, trying to switch from other companies into Samsung and that kind of entry? Any suggestions or any tips that you want to give them?
Entry tips for entering Samsung is not that different from entering any other VLSI, any other semiconductor company, be it Qualcomm, Nvidia, Intel, Samsung. They have the same benchmarks defined. If you are a new college graduate or someone with a 1+ junior level, like below 2 years or below 3 years of experience, then what they usually expect is that you should have your basics, digital electronics concepts fine. Like you should know, even though if you are working on a verification aspect, you should know how to design basic counters. How does flip-flop work? How your multiplexers are working? How you decode an RTL design? If you have an RTL logic, a Verilog code, what do you infer from it? With that basic, not complicated RTL FSM logic related to a particular machine, but very basic counters related things. Some simple if-else statement will be there. They'll ask you how will you will think that once you synthesize this code, what the actual digital components will make up this particular logic that you have written in Verilog. So these are very basic concepts which does not take time to master. If you did well in your college days, you have basic aptitude, these basic electronics questions will not stop you from going anywhere. What usually plays a more of a role is your aptitude, your general reasoning ability. Go to any company interview, you will get logical reasoning questions, puzzles. And if you like puzzles, you would have explored most of them. So you will find similar kind of puzzles in different companies. It revolves around a few well-known puzzles. If you have them through, if you know the logic, how it works, most of the things will be related only. So this plays a very big role, especially in your in your junior years. But once you have slight experience, like 2+ above years of experience, then this place still plays a role, but more shift goes towards what you have done in your those 2+ years as working in the what experience you have gained. Whether you, if you are a verification engineer, I can talk only about from verification perspective. I don't know because I have not attended any interviews related to design or positions. But for a verification engineer, I have given a recently few interviews in Qualcomm and Microchip. So I know what all questions they also ask. And I have been, for Samsung, I have been taking interviews for those people who want to join Samsung. So the things that I usually focus on from verification point of view, I'll give you a basic model, very basic design, maybe a few FIFOs, a few arbitration modules, one arbitration module, 2, 3 FIFOs, a memory model. And I will ask him how will you how will some person verify this particular IP? Like, what is the thought process? People are over here are more concerned about the thought process, whether they are people, how are they approaching a problem, whether they break down the problem into small parts. And uh, if they have prior experience, they will be definitely talking about a few corner cases for things which normal people who don't have any experience might not think about it. So if you have an experience, it is expected that you will talk about certain aspects of verification when I give you a problem. So that is the things that you should focus on. Basic verification, solving problems, how, so and there is a lot of material available online. There are some books which helps you in these interview types of questions as well. And it more or less revolves around basic digital, basic aptitude puzzles. And if you have experience, then it will go to system verilog, UVM related questions, trying you to write some constraints. System verilog, most of the things is constraints that people generally ask questions about. Like they will give you that I want to generate something in this fashion. I have this memory divided in this many parts. How will you code it? Those constraints and all. So the system verilog constraints are the main focus. Then UVM, the basic components of UVM, how the communication happens between a driver, sequence, how they build, how the phases are, what are the needs of phases, why do we need UVM? These are the basic questions related to the UVM aspect. These will be asked only if you have a prior experience, not to fresh graduates. And yes, finally coming to the verification aspects, how do you define verification? How do you approach verification? What is your thought process that goes into it? What all scenarios you can think of? What are the corner cases? How will you ensure that you cover those cases? What are the metrics in the verification? How do you say that a verification is complete? These are the very basic questions, and wherever you go, you will get these types of questions.
That's actually good because we got an experience. I mean, we got all the suggestions from an interviewer at Samsung. You said, right? We also interviewed some candidates.
Yes.
So that's good. So for a candidate,
That's what you can expect.
Yeah.
And if you have a project experience, we ask you what you did in the project, what role you played. We know that if you have a low experience, like 3 years or below 3 years, other companies might not have given you that much of a chance. So we do ask questions related to what you did in your project, and so even if you didn't get a chance in any company, you can in any company, if you show your willingness, you will get to know the idea, the background, what happens actually. Even though you don't get to work on it, you will get the knowledge, like what happens in it. Your managers, everything, they will be supportive enough in every company that if you are showing inquisitiveness to get to know about those things, you will get the idea. So that's what we generally try to see, whether even if he get a chance to work on those concepts, then well and good, he will be knowing it. And even though if he did not get the chance, whether did he show that inquisitiveness to get to know about the future there or not.
Okay. So for a candidate like who has got 1 year of experience, but not from verification domain, let's say it's not from VLSI domain itself. So he was from the other domain. Does it matter for him? I mean, do you treat him like
If he, right. So the expectation is if you are wanting to enter a VLSI industry, even if you don't have experience, you should have the knowledge. If you don't have knowledge, neither the experience, it will not work out definitely. So there are many institutes which train you for VLSI. There are people in my team itself who were in the software industry for 2+ years. Later, they wanted to shift to a VLSI industry. They joined one of those training institutes, got to learn about the stuff that we do over here. And once they had little bit of idea, they we were accommodating enough. Like you need to have basic things cleared. And these questions that we ask even to experienced people, they are not very much core or you don't need to have that much experience to answer those questions. If you have basic idea of digital electronics, you know the concepts, you have gone through it, you have practiced a little bit in your training institutes or your college, then you can clear the interviews very easily.
Yeah, that's cool. So now I just wanted to ask you, it's just a general question. Like, do you think it's necessary for candidates to go for masters and higher studies to other countries to pursue their career in PLSI especially? Do you think
It depends.
India approaching the other countries in that aspect in near future?
Actually, if you consider the semiconductor market, the one of the major markets is the US, the biggest one, and one of the secondary or the third. I'll say it's mostly the second position in the world. I'll say it's India. The kind of opportunities that you will be getting in India are on par with US. On par. It is a little slightly less, but very much on par. And in so in India, if you are working in a MNC which has its counterparts in US, there will be some downsides to it. So if you are like, from what I have got to know from some people who are working in Qualcomm, some of my colleagues, so they say that since the headquarters is in California, San Diego, the major work goes over there. The kind of work that you will be getting over here in India, they will be a subsidiary or scaled down version of those projects. And it the kind of work and exposure that you will get working over here in India will not be that much that exciting or that in depth as the exposure that you will be getting when you are working in the headquarters over there, the US. So they will get the main part of to get to know the architecture, get to work on the architecture, verify the architecture itself. Over here, everything is the proven. The main thing is proven. You are just working on a scaled down version of that project. And it hampers a little your learning curve. Especially if there's a company who is headquartered in US. But as I told that Samsung has a different role over here because it has a headquarter in South Korea, and South Korean people have a different mindset, maybe. So there are many projects which are handled solely in India itself. So in SSIR, in the R&D center, we build it from the scratch. The design aspect, the architecture, the verification, everything goes on here in-house. So the exposure that you get working on some of the project. There are some projects which are headquartered in South Korea. They are managed from there, but there are many other projects which are end to end, which is handled by SSIR in India. So Samsung, and there will be many other companies like Samsung who are not headquartered in a foreign country, which will give you this exposure. And coming to the higher education, if you are planning to work in India, getting an MTech will help you in getting your salary incremented. Definitely, you will get a boost over there. But even without the MTech, the kind of work that you people with an MTech, without an MTech will do, they are kind of same. Except if you are very exceptional in your MTech in a particular domain, you were very much interested in a particular domain, you went on for the PhD also, then you might get a different kind of a role. But if you most of the people in India just they do masters for the sake of having a master's degree. If you're doing your masters for just for that, then yes, it will help you with getting your salary incremented, getting a little higher position. But kind of work that you will be you will be doing, it will be the same as the one who just has a bachelor's degree. And coming forward to the MS part, yeah, if your plan is to move abroad, settle abroad, yes, if you do a master's, it will help you in that. You will not get a job in a foreign country just with a bachelor's from India. Even if you have a master's from India, you might not get a chance to work in a foreign country. And mostly the major motivation people have of going to a foreign country is the salary increment, the pay scale changes drastically, and kind of work they do over there. So if you're planning to move to US, most of the people in the electronics industry, if they are planning for a higher education, most of them, they will go to US for higher education. Some will go to UK, some might go to Canada, but majority of them will go to US. And that is the right thing to do also. If they have the sufficient funds with them, then yes, moving to US is better than moving to these countries, because US is the main semiconductor hub. Second is India only. So if you are moving out of India, the go-to place will be US, not Canada or UK. But yeah, if the prime motivation is pay scale increase, then you might consider these two countries as well. Because compared to Indian pay scale, you will get more in these countries. But US, you will get the increase in pay scale as well as more exposure. The kind of work that you will be doing will be different from what you get over here. So if that is your motivation, getting to do different kind of work, getting more in-depth knowledge of the architecture related aspects of the design and verification, then moving to US will be of benefit. Having a master's will benefit you. And even after you do, so current US has a very stringent immigration policy, which people have to consider that you at most you might be able to work for at least you will be able to work for 3 years over there. And after those 3 years, it's purely luck based whether you will get your H1B extension or not. And if you don't get, it's purely luck based. If you don't get, you have to move back to India or shift to US, Canada or UK. That's most majority of the people, if they are not able to get the H1B visa in their lucky draws, then they move to Canada. That's because you are able to maintain the pay structure slightly is the same across these two countries. Because most of the people who are going for an MS, they take loans. They have to pay it off. Because 3 years are generally not enough. After your graduation, you get a permit to work for 3 years in US. Those 3 not enough to pay off your tuition fees loans that you would have taken. So majority of them try to move to Canada. If they are not, they return to India. But when you return to India with an MS degree and experience from there, you can expect that your pay scale will be at least 1/3 from what you were getting over there. But compared to in your Indian counterparts, it will still be enough. It will be more than average.
So if we are looking for masters, MS is the best option, as you said, if we have the sufficient funds.
If you have the sufficient funds, yes, US, Canada, you can look for that. You will get, especially US, because Canada, the kind of work might be the same. If the focus is the pay scale increment, then yes, you can look for Canada as well. But if you want to get to know more about the work and and different, you want to experience different kind of work, then yes, having a US MS in US, that will be a go-to option for you.
So while working at Samsung, do you often get opportunities to speak with uh, employees from other countries working in the same project or similar project? Does it happen often?
Yes, so most of the projects are in-house, as I told you, like the design part, everything happens over here in Samsung Samsung itself. But those projects, even though the design and verification is happening in India, there will be some aspects of those projects which will be owned by the DSK, which is the Design Solutions Korea team. So our interaction mostly with the foreigners will be with the Korean people. And we get sufficient opportunities to go to headquarters also. I didn't get, because once I joined, just after a few months, not few months, like 1.5 years, usually get the chance to go to Korea. But 1.5 years later into my career, then this COVID outbreak happened, and all those plans didn't get through.
I hope that you'll get a chance very soon.
Hopefully now once everything is going back to normal, I'm looking forward to it. My manager has told me, but I don't know when exactly it will be.
So, I mean, for candidates who are working at Samsung, do they have any opportunity to do their master's program? I mean, is Samsung tied up
Yes,
with any institutes for that purpose?
yes, they are tied up with their triple IT Bangalore and IIC Bangalore. Also, they have a tie-up with them. You have to clear the rounds, yes. Even though they have a team, you will might have in your interviews and cracking those in rounds, but in terms of having a say in your selection process, the Samsung does not have any role. It will help, what it helps you in, you will get a chance to work as well as you are building up your career. So your funds will be taken care of, the sponsorship, these aspects will be taken care of. But yes, you will get this chance only if you have worked in Samsung for a number of years, like more than 2 years.
And after doing that master's program, like, is there any bond for the employee to stay at Samsung?
Uh, I'm not sure. I think they would be, but I'm not sure because I never tried to inquire about it.
Yeah, okay, not a problem. So we are almost at the end of the interview now. Last two more questions. So first question is, what do you think about VLSI for all and its initiatives? What's your take upon it?
I, yeah, so I got to know about this from my friend only, Rajat, over LinkedIn. I see that he is promoting this VLSI for all over there. And it's when I visited this page, I found some pretty interesting material over there. Many interview experiences, and this will definitely help a lot of people who don't have any idea what goes on in those interviews. What should they exactly prepare for? You guys are doing a very great job on that.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Kavish. So finally, any motivation or any message that you want to give to all those youngsters who are especially just out of their BTech or who are currently doing their BTech or even MTech to enter into the VLSI industry, semiconductor industry as a whole? Because nowadays, what I observe about all majority of the candidates is that they get good packages in software and they just go to the software jobs. They switch their profiles easily because of the pay scale. What do you say about this?
Right. Firstly, you should enter this industry only if you're passionate about it. If you are not passionate about it, then it not does not make much sense. But yeah, considering the pay, it is not lesser than software like most people think. Yes, software has more opportunities, but the demand for VLSI engineers uh, is almost the same in terms of the demand of skilled people, of people who can do this stuff. If you're passionate about it, you don't worry about the pay. It is a very well paid job. You will be getting equivalent pay as your software counterparts.
Yeah, I guess the semiconductor industry is very hot right now in India. Is it so?
Especially right, especially about the recent initiatives taken by the government for promoting the semiconductor industry. You might have got to know that even the Intel CEO, he had recently visited India. So there are many upcoming opportunities in India. As I told you, it's even with the current situation, it is second to US only. And with all those initiatives being taken by the government to promote this industry, I think it's no time, very soon, it will be on par.
Yeah, that's so great. And this interview was really comprehensive, and we got to know a lot more things about the guy who works at Samsung and in general in semiconductor industry. Thanks a lot, Kavish. And we are very grateful for you for spending your time for this interview. I guess it has enlightened
I
many
hope this helps
students.
those people.
Yeah, those people who are especially wants to know about the industry. Students who want to know about the industry. Yeah, they generally it's very hard for for students to get to know the industry in their early stages of their career. I mean, when they are starting up as students, right, in ECE. For software, it would be a lot more easier for them to know because there would be no much
Right, it's the most of the information is available. They know
available.
what to do, how to get through it.
Yeah, thank you once again, Kavish. So thank you everyone for spending your time to view this material from VLSI for all this time, and stay tuned for more interviews from us. Signing off. Bye bye.
Bye.